This is Swiss and Chips, your British guide to Switzerland. Hello and welcome to Swiss and Chips. I'm Jo Fay.
And I'm Simon Sried.
And today we're going to talk about what you think you should say, or what you even have to say, when somebody says a certain something to you. If it sounds a bit confusing, don't worry, because we're going to go into extensive detail.
Exactly. Basically, all of that started with a conversation I had at work with a friend of mine. Mm-hmm. She's also an expat. We talked a bit about the podcast and she asked, what we are doing with that and so on. And I tried to explain, we try to solve like day-to-day problems for expats or answer questions or things like that. And then she said, I always wanted to ask a Swiss person a certain question. And that is, what do I say if I say goodbye? So if the other person says ade, do I also have to say ade, which means goodbye? Mm-hmm. Or if a person says something different, what do I have to say, basically? And that's when we came up with this topic, and then you had similar ideas. So
yeah, well,
so that's what we're going to talk about today. And we have put some questions together or situations that basically we thought might be confusing or could be confusing potentially. It's quite hard to say.
Because this kind of conversation started off a whole kind of spiral effect of other situations where I said, well, it's not just that situation where you think you have to say something in particular back, but what about this and what about that?
Yeah, not just that is weird and confusing in Switzerland. It's also this and so on. And what do I do then? And what happens if I say something wrong and so on? So we try to talk a bit about that today, and hopefully I can give some different perspectives to people who are listening. I think often these conversations we have, and especially with you or other expats, is make me feel a bit. It's a bit somehow sad, because I think people make too much. They think too much what they should say or could say or are not allowed to say, and hopefully we can clean up the mess a little bit and make life a tiny bit easier.
That would be nice. So let's start with the example where it all began then, which is saying goodbye. And I tell you why we're talking about this, because when you said to me that our friend thinks that she has to say something particular back,
yes,
I said, actually, I have the impression that you're supposed to say something completely different back. So somebody says ade, you have to come up with another word to say instead. And then they have to come up with another word, and like you have to come up with something else.
And like nice evening.
I don't know.
And
it goes on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend. Have a good evening. Have a great week. Thanks a lot. Yeah, no, thank you. And see you next week. And enjoy your Feierabend. And goodbye, 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 goodbye. I just thought, I don't even know enough German words to have a good conversation like that.
Yeah, that's quite funny. We had also this discussion in our Facebook group, which is called Switzerland for English Speakers. And one I don't know, was it, I can't really remember who it was, but said as well some similar things, that the goodbye thing takes quite a long time. Mm-hmm. And that made me laugh, because I haven't ever thought about it till you mentioned it. And obviously it's a problem for many of us.
Yes.
Yeah. So I try to answer your question.
Yes, please.
There are two different things you can say. One is the du version, the informal, is that? Or
like a friendly, informal.
And the Sie version, so if you are formal, which you would be maybe to your boss or to someone you don't know and have a lot of respect, like an older person, older in the sense of,
more like an elder.
25 plus or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
I don't go into history, how it developed and how it was 50 years ago or 20 years ago. But today I would say, at work or a person you have never met before, you might be formal. So there are these two things. You can be formal or informal.
And we should just say that we're only talking about the Swiss-German part of Switzerland at this point. We're not good enough in French to go into that, are we?
Nor Italian, nor Romansh. So.
Good.
And so the German word for the formal is ade or adieu, which means bye. Mm-hmm. Both of them, they are formal. Both of them you can theoretically say also in an informal way. Adieu, not so much. That's quite formal. Mm-hmm. And then you have all the other stuff like tschüss, ciao, and so on. That is informal. And that you can say in any situation. but not when it's formal. So like for an interview, you probably wouldn't say that. It's a bit, too friendly. If you are per se, how does that translate in English?
Just if you kind of want to show respect, I guess.
Okay.
We don't have this differentiation, really.
Okay. Makes it only a tiny bit more difficult. Anyway, so then if you want to be formal, then you say adieu. But the good thing is, ade is both. So I recommend if you are not sure, just say ade. And you can also say ade miteinander if there are several people, or just say ade. Then that's good for any situation.
Good. One word fits all.
If you're not sure, take that one. And all the other stuff is just, if people say goodbye, they're like a bit, usually it starts with also, like so, and then...
That's kind of setting up to say goodbye.
Like, someone's getting up, getting ready and says, so what you're up to? I'm heading slowly, and then I'll say, oh, okay, have a nice weekend. Thank you very much for your help there, and blah, 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 blah. And the other says, okay, bye. And the other says, cheers. And then you say, oh, have a nice weekend. And the other say, yeah, cool. Oh, actually, I'm on holiday, so see you then. And the other say, oh, then have a good holiday.
Oh, where are you going? It normally is.
Going?
And then, I'm going blah, blah, blah. Oh, are you? Oh, great, blah,
so
blah,
I
blah.
won't see you for another blah, blah, blah,
Exactly.
and so on. So that can go on and on and on. But basically... It's that's just a chat that you have.
Okay, but if I can interject here,
Yeah.
I'll say this not only happens with friends or people that you work with. I also find it happens, for example, in a shop or at a checkout or something. A little bit.
Well,
They say like, thank you very much, and you say, I don't know what, thanks or something, and you're already walking away, and then they're still saying something. It's like,
yes, but the thing is, as a Swiss, I don't really exactly listen what they're saying. You just say some random stuff. It's a bit the same like you would say in English maybe, hello, how are you? And the other person doesn't reply, then usually like, oh, thank you very much, I'm fine, how are you? So you'd say, hey, how are you? And you say maybe, hello. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I know what you mean.
And that's the same at the checkout. They might say something, oh, thank you very much, have a nice evening. And then either you can say, thanks, you too, or you say just bye, thank you. So
I always wonder, do you have to sort of reply in kind?
No.
If they say bye, you say bye. If they say have a nice evening, do you say you too? And then what if they say something else? Do you have to keep replying, and where does it end?
Well, it's the same like I said before with hey, how are you? You can, but you don't have to. So if you get up and the other says, okay, have a nice evening, then you say bye, and that can be it. If you want to leave, and even especially if you're in a rush. But if you want to, then you say, oh, thanks a lot, you too. And then the other person says, oh, thanks a lot. So what are you up to tonight? And then it can go on, because you basically started the conversation again. It's the same like in English again. Hello, how are you? And then if the other says hi, then it ends. But if the other says, oh, actually, I'm not so great, but how are you? Then basically you start a conversation.
Yes, that's true.
So,
and here's my other question. Is it rude to leave a room just by saying bye, or should you always be saying something else like, hey, have a great weekend, or have an amazing evening, or something like that?
Yes and no. I mean, or yes to both. You can leave a room and say, okay, bye. And then everyone is like, okay, she's probably in a rush.
Oh.
Or they just, whatever.
Yeah.
But usually I would say the normal thing is to combine it with bye, have a nice evening.
Gotcha.
But
that's where I've been going wrong then.
Also, I mean, you can't really go wrong. I think that's one of the things where I think especially expats who want or try to fit in and try to be nice and so on, they think too much, because you can totally leave and say, okay, bye. It also depends a bit how you say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if you
true.
get out and just say bye, then people are a bit like, what? But if you say, okay, bye, and then everyone's like, hey, bye.
And a long wave, maybe. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
But I said at the beginning, don't overthink it. And especially, that's the good thing. No one really speaks Swiss German who learns Swiss German. They understand it, or they speak very good, but you can usually Swiss people can hear very well who is who isn't a native speaker. So they will, give you some credit there.
They won't think, why did she never wish me a good weekend?
No. That's not going to happen.
Okay.
Don't overthink it. That's my advice.
All right, good. So, which brings me... Yes.
Sorry, but
Don't overthink it, but...
Yes, and don't make it... Swiss never extend something. So, but...
Yes.
No.
Anyway, bye. Haven't I already wished you a nice life?
I think it's totally also up to you how long you want to make it or how short. So, if you want to keep it short, then say bye, everyone, and that was it. And then if they shout something like, bye, have a nice weekend... Then either you're off or you say thanks.
And then you stick your head back in the door. You do!
You can, but you don't. That's basically starting a conversation,
Oh, God.
Anyway.
It's a vicious circle, this.
I wasn't a big help, was I?
Just try your best, and if in doubt, just run.
Exactly.
Okay, here's another thing I've noticed. And this is sneezing. Whenever I sneeze around Swiss people, someone always says something. Gesundheit.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter if I know them or not, someone is going to say it. Why?
True, huh? Can happen in a train or in a shop or anywhere.
Yep. People you don't know, and you're like,
Exactly.
What? Who are you?
The thing is, you say it because you're polite. But like a few years ago, I'm totally out of my knowledge zone here.
Okay,
but
go for
what I picked up, or what I at least think what I picked up, is like they changed the Knicke.
Excuse me, what?
The Knicke is like...
Everyone keep calm.
Theoretically, it's a book where it's written what is polite and what not. But
it's an etiquette guide.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
You saved me there. I know it more in detail, but it doesn't really... No, it doesn't. Anyway, so it's an etiquette guide.
Yep.
And they changed it. So they said, don't say anything anymore because it's polite to pretend that you haven't noticed that somebody sneezed.
Right.
But no one really does it because we got used to it for 100,000 years. So now there is a bit of confusion.
Oh, gosh. Just to make it worse.
Yeah. No, but usually people will still say Gesundheit.
Which means?
Health. They wish you health.
Yeah.
And then you say, thanks.
And you have to say thank you.
Yeah, yes, definitely. If someone wishes you health, then it's not polite to not be thankful, I think. And the other way around, I think if someone sneezes, usually you would say something, but no one would ever think, oh, she is rude because she hasn't said it. But
Are you sure?
Yeah, defo.
Okay, I'm going to start testing that out.
Also that, don't overthink it. But if someone says something nice to you, it's nice to say thank you back.
Okay. Here's another question. Is it possible to start eating without saying...
A gute.
Exactly. Which means, just before we get into it...
Bon appetit.
Oh, bon appetit.
It's like...
what's the English version of that? Enjoy your food or something.
Oh, yeah, enjoy. Basically.
Enjoy.
Right? Yeah, enjoy your food. Enjoy your meal. Yeah, you can. But it's nice to say it.
And if somebody says it, you also have to say it.
Yes.
Okay, that's the key
You
rule.
say gleichfalls. Same to you. Or you say the same. If you say...
Ongueta.
I say a gute.
Excellent.
And children learn at the kindergarten. They give each other the hand and they say a gute miteinander.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, good one. Enjoy, everyone.
Funny. Oh, nice. Yeah, all of these things I think I didn't know for roughly 9 years. I was just like, you're saying something unpronounceable and I've got food in my mouth now, so I'm just going to sort of stare at my plate until you go away.
All right.
Yeah. And how often does it occur that strangers say that to you? Because I told you a few weeks ago that, for example, once upon a time in Switzerland, I was sitting eating a sandwich on a staircase and some stranger walked past me and went, Ongueta! And I was like, what? What do you want?
Well, it's the same like Gesundheit.
Yeah.
We talked about it before. So it's just, in a Swiss perspective, a gute means you wish someone something nice. So if you're out in the roads and someone is eating, then people who are in a good mood and want to be nice, they say, oh, a gute. And then you say, oh, thanks.
So they're not making a judgment on the fact that you're not eating inside.
No,
That's what I thought at the time.
No, they don't. No, they just want to, just like, oh, nice jumper. You know, they are just in a good mood, want to be polite, see something it's happening, and then you're eating and they say, oh, good. Enjoy your meal.
Aww. That's nice, isn't it?
It's nothing really very special.
Okay.
It's just a thing.
Excellent. God, we're clearing up a lot of stuff, aren't we? So sticking with the food theme, and we're going to move into trickier waters now.
Okay, try me.
Let's say we're at a restaurant.
Yes.
And the food is...
Oh, problem. I see where this is going.
What are you going to do? Because I know what I would do, but I'm not sure what you would do.
Different types of people.
Uh-oh.
My personal advice, do what you feel is right. The Swiss way would be to say, you know, if someone comes and says, how was the food? You would probably say, yeah, it was good. Very good. Thank you very much.
Okay.
But you can totally say it was special or...
So they do say this, because this is what somebody else mentioned in our Facebook group.
Oh, okay.
She said, I can't remember what the example was, but she said...
you can say es ist speziell. It is a bit speziell. You know, it's a bit special.
So that means not very nice.
That means extraordinary rubbish. But no.
Really?
That's maybe a bit too much said. But, you know, it usually takes a big step for a Swiss to, you know, say something bad about the food. So
it would be like if we said, oh, it was different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, different is the word. Yeah,
got it.
Totally. So, yeah, that's quite bad, I would say. But you can totally say that. No one would ever think you are rude or something. But let's say you are also, again, like you go with your boss or you're new at work or you even have a work lunch with the client or something, and then the food is not good, you would probably not say anything.
If they invited you.
Yeah, or also if you invite them and you're at a restaurant, you don't want to really stick out of the mass. You know what I mean? But I assume that's the same everywhere.
Yeah.
Or
I
in
think
many
so.
places, you wouldn't then, throw the stuff around and tell the cook he is rubbish.
Yeah.
So,
depends how bad it is.
Yeah.
And so on, I guess, doesn't it?
Yeah. But also there, I think if the food is not good, you can totally also say, it wasn't so good. So, for example, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many mushy peas, for example.
Exactly.
Or something. Okay. So something that I guess could happen to anyone is you're out at the weekend, doop-de-doop, shubbity-bum, walking along, and then suddenly you see someone from work.
Okay.
Horror or delight.
Yes, depends who it is.
What are you going to say to them?
Depends who it is, I would say.
Okay. But is it okay just to be like, hey, what are you up to? Oh, you're having a great weekend and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
so it's
totally.
a normal conversation, basically.
That's normal conversation, yeah.
There's no weird things.
It totally depends who it is. I mean, if you don't like that person, you probably try not to see that person.
Hide behind a bush or something.
Yeah, you jump, make the ninja jump behind the bush.
And then if they see you, then you're, oh, hi, how's it going?
Yeah,
how's your
totally
weekend?
Fine. Yeah, totally fine.
Got it. Okay. So we're going to end with two extremely tricky subjects.
Okay,
probably the trickiest of trickiest.
End in sight. I get a bit odd.
Yeah, I think
Quite
give all
difficult
these
questions.
stressful situations. Okay, number one.
First, I have to complain to the cook, and now be rude to friends and colleagues, and then
Yes.
people sneezing around me, and not wishing me a nice weekend. And
Is there anything worse? Well, there is. And somehow, let's imagine this scenario.
Yep.
Somehow, somewhere, you get into a conversation about how much you earn. Salaries. I don't know how it would come up, but somehow it could. At some point in your life in Switzerland, this topic may come up. What are you going to do? Because, I say this, the Swiss are famously discreet, you might say, about
moving on
salaries.
thin ice. Huh? You don't have your Swiss passport yet.
We can delete this episode once I file the application.
So salary is coming up.
Yeah. Is it a thing to be discussed? Can you ask someone? What if they ask you? Then what?
Depends who it is, I would say. So, and depends on the situation. If it's like a really good friend and you know both of you don't have a problem with talking about it, then you talk about it. Go ahead. You wouldn't ask everyone. That's for sure, because you know people don't like that question. And that's the main reason, I think, because you know people don't really like the question. But if someone asks me, then I will probably tell them. I have told quite a few people, everyone who asked me so far, but usually no one asks because they assume you don't like the question, and on the other hand, they assume that you have to reply with,
True.
So if I ask you, I get a big chance that you will ask me back, and that's what Swiss don't want. So
I might do, so watch out.
Exactly.
Just kidding.
No, I think that's also something you can ask. I wouldn't usually, but ask a bit more political. How do you say? Try to be more neutral. Maybe if you're really, for example, again, you have an interview and you might want to ask something like, how is the usual salary, or do you know how the usual salary range is, where what I can say, what I would like to know,
exactly. I think
like
that's a question a lot of expats would love to ask. What's the kind of rough salary range for someone in this kind of position?
And then if you ask directly someone, because that can definitely happen, and no one will be like, what, why did you ask me? Because they will be, like, oh, that's a normal question I get asked every day.
Yeah, people want to know how I afford my Ferrari collection.
So you would reply something like, well, I get something like the usual people in my usual range and the usual similar field, I guess, with the same age and same education, roughly plus minus 200%. So.
Okay, good.
You know what I mean?
So it's that kind of answer that you're giving.
They will give you kind of, it's a bit exaggerated, but they will give you something like, well, I get the usual roughly, or I assume I get similar like you.
God, throwing the ball right back at you. That's a smart move.
Yeah. So, but it's not. I don't think it's like a total. You can ask, but it's probably quite a very personal question for a Swiss, yes.
Okay, good. I won't be asking anyone soon then, on that note.
You see my sweats,
dripping down your face at this point. Let me just mop that brow for you.
Exactly.
There you go.
Oh,
All better. I'm ready for the final question then. And we save this to last because it is probably, well, I don't know, salaries or politics. If somehow you get into the situation where someone is asking you about your political leanings.
Yes.
How likely is that to happen? And how openly should you respond? What do you think?
Oh, that's, again, totally depends what on the situation, who is asking you, and what personality you are. If someone asks me, I will straight away tell my opinion, because we are living in a country of direct democracy and every opinion is extremely important. And I think if I tell my opinion, I might get a chance to convince someone to think a bit the same thing. So, and also I think politics is an extremely important topic for Swiss people. We talk about politics quite often with friends, with family, with colleagues. So I think I know of many people roughly that direction, what they think about the votes that are coming up every few months. So, and that's also something you can ask straight away if you want to. You can say, so what did you vote there? And
okay. So it's not impolite to ask, how are you going to vote? Or what did you vote?
Oh, no. You can ask. You might don't get an answer because they might say, I haven't decided yet. But usually they would say, because they want to, people stand by their opinions, I think.
Well, that's good to know, because I think it's happened quite often that I said to people, how are you going to vote with blah, 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 and blah, 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 just out of interest?
Yes. I mean, it is already quite a personal question, but I think it's nothing more than that.
Okay, so ask them how they vote, but don't ask them how much they earn.
Exactly.
And don't forget to say Gesundheit.
Yes. But for example, sorry, but I feel like I'm really...
Schönen Abend. No, I said schönen Abend.
Oh, no.
I'm kidding. Please.
Anyway, yeah, you definitely can ask people, but maybe you wouldn't ask straight away, like, so what do you vote, yes or no? It's more like, what do you think about the votes then? Because you want to discuss it. Generally, I'm also not so much interested in what did they actually vote, but more about their general opinion to discuss it. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting topic to talk about. So
Yeah, certainly
don't
is.
miss it out.
Yeah.
Don't miss out.
Don't miss out. Yeah.
Okay.
And don't mess it up.
Don't confuse me. We're
Okay.
almost at the finish line, you said. You promised.
Well, I think that's all of the awkward situations that I could possibly think of, unless I've missed anything out.
Yeah, and if you have any more questions, then come to our Facebook group and just ask them, and I try to, answer some question if anything is coming up as good as I can. And like, to sum it up, maybe I think I try to give a bit of a general idea, but obviously it's just one opinion that I have. But on the other hand, I think if you are polite and if you are smiling and you are friendly, then you can ask what you want and you can say what you want, and just, people will like you then, because usually you get back what you give.
Yeah, that's a nice moral to end this episode on, I think.
Thank you. I just made that up. God, I'm good.
All right, so...
And you find my book in the library. It's called...
How much did they pay you for that, just out of interest?
The Moral World of the Swiss
Alps.
Exactly. And it ends with 500 pages of tschüss, ciao, tschüss. See you in 2 weeks. Hear you
Thank
in
you
2
for
weeks
listening.
again.
And goodbye.
Bye,
and thank you.
cheers,
And bye.
ciao,
And
nice
have a good
weekend.
weekend. Bye.
Cheers,
Bye.
bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.